the second episode of DIY Room Decor. In the last episode, we made a floral initial that could be used for multiple things, such as a bookend or just a decorative piece to add a personal touch. In this episode, we're going to be making a dream catcher. This is one of the more timely projects that I'll be making in this podcast. It's not hard, it just takes some time. Before we get started, I just wanted to talk about the background of a dream catcher, as it has a really rich tradition behind it. Native Americans believe that the night air is filled with dreams, both good and bad. When hung near or over the bed, the dream catcher catches dreams as they flow by. The good dreams slip through the holes and slide down the feathers, while the bad dreams get tangled in the net and perish with the first light of a new day. So with that in mind, let's get started. Here's what you'll need. An embroidery hoop. The price of these really differ from where you get them. They can range from $2 to $10 depending on how big they are. Mine is about 8 inches across. I got lucky and found a whole bunch of these at Goodwill. I definitely recommend checking there first before going to a craft store. Next, you'll need some beads. Whatever color you want is fine. I believe these are called pony beads. They're plastic and really easy to string through yarn. Plus, you can get like 500 of them or some crazy number like that for only a few dollars. You'll also need some yarn. Again, whatever color you like. I usually like to coordinate the color of beads, yarn, and feathers on my dream catchers. Next, you'll need a pair of scissors. And like I said before, feathers. You can get these at any craft store, they're super easy to find. Alright, let's get started. The first step is optional. I like to wrap the yarn around my embroidery hoop. Again, optional. I like the look that it gives, but you can just leave it bare. If you do decide to wrap it in yarn, I recommend having something else to entertain you, like Netflix, as you're probably going to be here for a while. Start off by tying the yarn around the top of the hoop. Continue to wrap the yarn around the rest of the hoop. Make sure you keep it tight so the wood won't show through. I find it's best if you use about a medium-sized length of yarn. That way it won't get tangled and you won't get constantly frustrated. If you run out of yarn, you can always add some more just by tying the ends of 2 pieces together. When you finish wrapping the hoop, it should look like this. Tie it off at the top and create a loop from where you'll be hanging it on your wall when you're all done. If you decide not to wrap your hoop, this is step 1 for you. Now this is the part where it gets slightly complicated, the actual net of your dream catcher. Start off by simply wrapping the yarn around the hoop just like we did before, but much looser. Now you're going to take the yarn, all one consecutive piece of yarn, and loop it through the loops that you created. It's kind of hard to explain, but I added a diagram that really helped me when I first started. It's frustrating at first, but it gets much easier once you get the hang of it. Here's what it should begin to look like. Again, I recommend working with smaller lengths of yarn as you'll be looping it through smaller holes. You can always add more yarn if needed. Once the holes get too small to loop the yarn through, you'll know you're finished. Just add a bead to the middle and tie it off. Now here comes the fun part. Measure how long you want the strings at the bottom of your dream catcher to hang, double it, and then cut. You can cut as little as 1 string to as many as 50. It all depends on what you prefer. I love it when dream catchers have a lot of feathers, so I cut out a lot of strings. Next, just map out where you want the strings to hang. Then just tie 1 where you want them to start and 1 where you want them to end. Then just fill the space between the 2 with the string. Try to spread them out as evenly as possible. Now begin adding your beads and feathers. You can add as many beads or feathers to the strings as you like. I recommend at least adding 3 beads to every string, that way the strand will be weighed down and they'll just hang down nicely. I find it easiest to just tie the feathers on. If you make the knot tight enough, you should have absolutely no problem with the feathers falling off. Once you finish that, you're all done. Here's what my dream catcher looked like. Thanks for listening. I hope this inspired you to find the time during your day to be creative.